It's November, so grab your jelly roll pan. We're making a pumpkin roll today. Welcome to Help at Home, your resource for great recipes and easy learning. It's November, and that means pumpkin recipes. We've already done a pumpkin pie, so now we're going to make Libby's delicious pumpkin roll. So grab your pen and paper. Here come the ingredients. For the cake, you'll need 3/4 cup flour, half a teaspoon baking powder, half a teaspoon baking soda, half a teaspoon ground cinnamon. And let's talk about the ground cloves. Ground cloves are a little bit stout, and as I've told some of my family and my good friend Rick Halber, this calls for half a teaspoon of ground cloves, but it was just a little bit too strong for me, almost peppery. So I've decided to go with 1/4 teaspoon cloves, but if you really want it to kick, go for the half a teaspoon cloves, ground cloves that is, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 3 large eggs, 1 cup sugar, 2/3 cup Libby's pure pumpkin, and optionally 1 cup of walnuts or pecans. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Now, for the filling, you'll need an 8-ounce package of cream cheese at room temperature, 1 cup powdered sugar, 6 tablespoons butter, softened, 1 teaspoon vanilla, and that's all there is to it. This pumpkin roll is a delicious dessert to share with your family or friends. It's the perfect kind of thing to take to a school party or a work party, or take it to a luncheon, or if you have a little coffee clatch with your friends and you drink with your pinky extended, then this would be great for that too. I'm a nut. The first thing we need to do is prepare our jelly roll pan. So, you spray it, get a sheet of wax paper, and press it inside, especially those corners. Then, spray your wax paper, really a little extra. Then, flour it. Bang this around. Give it a good whop on your trash can to get all the loose flour out. Next, you need a medium-sized bowl, your 1 cup of sugar, and your eggs, and this is separate. Then have all your dry stuff in another bowl like this, and again, take a knife or a spoon and just kind of mix all that around for later. And your pumpkin's over there. So here are the eggs. Pour them right in, and we're going to start slowly putting the sugar in, and we're going to mix it till it's nice and thick and pale yellow. I'm going to break up the yolks first. And I suppose you could pour it all in at once, but I just like to go slow. Basically, I'm saying I go slow for all recipes, the ones that require it and the ones that don't, and that way you're always covered. Now, see, this is mixed together, but it is by no means thick. So, now you need to go about 2 or 3 minutes. Alright, I'm going to show you. See, this will make a dissolving ribbon of egg batter on top of itself. It is thicker. Get my happy spatula and scrape all around. You know, for a smaller job like this, I don't really see the need to bring out my big red stand mixer, so I didn't. Now, I'm going to slowly mix in the flour and the spices. Now, I think it's always good to do this slowly so that you don't end up with any dry lumps. Give this a little quick stir. I have my pumpkin. And we'll mix that in. Alright, whoopsie. Yummo. So here is our prepared cake pan. No ingredients left over here. And give this a little stir so that we don't have any white parts in the bottom. Alright. Just pour it all around. I like to make sure that I hit all the corners so that it's easy to make sure that they get filled in. You'll see in a minute. Now, lightly spread it and head for that corner that's leaning over. Don't do that. That'll make it a pain later if any of that wax paper leans over. So you don't want it to fall over and get baked in and then tear up your cake. So see, this is super simple. Just make sure you get over there into those corners. Make sure that your cake is as even as possible. Don't go overboard. I think I just did. And then taste it. Ooh, pure pumpkin goodness. You can give it a little shimmy and shake into that preheated 375 degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. It doesn't take long at all. Set your timer, don't walk away. You just want to cook it until the middle. When you touch it, it just lightly springs back. If you overcook it, your cake will dry out and crack and you won't be able to roll it and you'll be sad. And nobody wants that over the holidays. Here's my cake, just out of the oven. It's slightly lumpy. I had an issue. I reached in with my pot holders and my thumb was over and I burned my thumb. And it wasn't quite done, but it is now. So, what you want to do is you want to take an old, very thin cotton kitchen towel. Get your little strainer sieve here and some powdered sugar. I don't know why this works, but this is what everybody does. Lightly or heavily sprinkle your towel with powdered sugar. This will keep the cake from sticking to it. Then, carefully take your cake here and lay it right on top of your towel. And then we can carefully lift the pan off. See, spraying and all that, not all that, but spraying it kept it from sticking in the pan. Now you want to carefully pull it off the cake, and you don't want to get too excited or you will tear your cake. Even though it has been sprayed and floured, some sides of this, or some edges of this wax paper will come off a little bit more easily than others, and you just have to be careful. See, when you get a good thing going, go with it. And by the way, if you're worried about what my cake looked like on top, you don't have to, because we're going to roll it. And I think it's also always a good idea to put a little bit of powdered sugar on the cake so that it doesn't stick to itself or the towel as you roll it up. And here we go. I should have gotten this right on the edge of my towel, which I don't know if I can. I can't. But I'm just gonna do this and go slow and treat it very carefully and roll it up. Ooh, oh, that's hot on my burned thumb. And there. You can turn it and let it sit and cool till it's room temperature, maybe an hour. The jelly roll is cool to the touch, cool to room temperature, and I'm going to leave it on the towel. It's time to make our filling, and let's beat up the cream cheese first. It doesn't take but a second. That's it. I'll just put all the powdered sugar in there. Stir slowly so you don't get whang all over the kitchen. Spouses don't like that. Now, we need a teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm just going to eyeball it. Exactly 1 teaspoon. We also need 6 tablespoons of softened butter. And I want you to notice right here, it says, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tablespoons. I think before I put the butter in, I'm going to carefully mix in that vanilla so it doesn't splatter. I'm going to get my spatula here, scrape all around, and then mix it one more time. And that's it. Slowly unroll your cake. Be careful. Pull it out here. And there it is. It was not overcooked. It did not crack. It did not break. Now, you really need one of these handy Wilton icing spreaders. That's what I'm going to call that. Or icing spatula. It lets you evenly put stuff on. Because I don't want to put too much pressure on the cake, I'm trying to put icing all along the sides. Alright. Here we go. Carefully spread to your edges. And just go slowly. Then you'll start running all of your icing together. Ran out of breath. Just take your time. Don't push too hard, and that's all there is to it. You're done. One more time. Oh, that's just good. Again, no towel this time. Push it carefully. Pick it up. Baby it as you go along. See, it's even sticking a little bit to that thin towel. So I have a nice little dish here. and carefully get my pumpkin roll. Lay it right there. The last thing you do is sprinkle a little powdered sugar on there for decoration, or if you want to pretend it's snow. And that's it. If you want these rough looking ends to look neater, you can cut a tiny bit off, save those scraps for later, and the cook can eat those while they're in the kitchen. I do suggest that you store this in the refrigerator because of the cream cheese. I would be careful and try to store it in something like a Tupperware or a plastic dish that has a lid that won't touch it, because the powdered sugar will start to go in, and your cake will be moist and stick to wraps, so you might consider that. If you like this recipe for delicious Libby's pumpkin roll, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and share with your friends who like to cook or just want to learn how. Drop me a line in the comments below about your experiences with this recipe, and if you learned that it really is easy to make a jelly roll. Click the bell in the top right hand corner for notifications. I'm Jim Hightower, and remember, everyone needs help, even me. Enjoy! Or, as we love in the South, flopper. This is wonderful for go away, fly. This is great as a pumpkin pie alternative. It'd be great. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and share. I can't talk.